Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we have an all new foundation wear test. We're going to be trying out the new Revlon Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Alright, so this foundation launched about a month ago, and as I'm in Canada, it has been very hard to get a hold of, but I have finally secured the goods. So this is the new Revlon Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation. So it looks like we're continuing the trend with skincare foundation hybrids. So this is supposed to be the benefits of makeup and skincare in one. Skin looks naturally radiant and plump. You'll see smoother looking skin and the reduced appearance of roughness and wrinkles with continued use. This contains 5% squalane and hyaluronic acid to deeply hydrate and moisturize. This is supposed to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles within 4 weeks. Infused with powerful botanical antioxidants to fight free radicals and blur imperfections, leaving skin looking naturally radiant. So we're going to test that out. I'm hoping to get in a solid 10 or 12 hour wear test today, and then hopefully I can tell you whether this new one is worth it. I did pick up the shade 109 Light Ivory, and I think this is going to be pretty close for me. So I'm just going to take a pump on my palette, and this is what it looks like. Definitely has a certain density to it. And just like all of my foundation wear tests, I am going to prime and powder one side of my face, and I'm not going to do that on the other side, so that at the end of the day I can compare which side wore better, all of the things. So I think I'm going to prime and powder this side, as it's the side that seems to need a little bit more help anyway. I'm just taking a little bit of my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer, just right in the center to blur out pores. I'm going to go in with the Sigma and Brianna Fox Fox 4 brush to start. It's a little bit light, but that's probably okay. It looks like it'll work. And please ignore the mess of my hand. That is courtesy of my sweet kitten. Okay, so it's a little bit light, but it's not too bad. Yeah, it matches my neck really well, so that's fine. It definitely gave a solid medium coverage. I think it really evened out my skin, like looking side by side. It's definitely got a soft radiance to it. It definitely did a great job blurring out my skin. It's really evened everything out so far, but it's definitely a very medium coverage. I can still see certain things poking through, but it's really evened everything out. So I love that. I do need another pump, so I'm using about a pump and a half of this one. And this brush seems to work quite well with it as well. It's definitely a little bit, I would say texture-wise, it is thicker than the NARS Light Reflecting. I would say it's almost similar in consistency to the Catrice True Skin Foundation, but it's definitely more radiant than that one, if that makes sense. It's a little bit thinner, but more radiant. I've been absolutely dying to get my hands on this foundation forever, but with high-end makeup, Canada tends to get products at the exact same time as the US, but when it comes to drugstore makeup, we typically have to wait a few months. Not always, but pretty much. That is pretty much the standard, is a couple months, which is why I don't typically always do a lot of new drugstore reviews right away, just because I gotta wait forever to get my hands on them. Okay, so far it's looking pretty good. I'm definitely gonna have to go in and spot conceal. I do have a dry patch right here, so I am paying attention to how it works with that. I really like the soft radiance it gives the skin. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of my NARS, just in that it's a very medium coverage, but it leaves a certain luminosity to the skin, which I really do enjoy. I'm just kind of now checking to see if it's going to settle into fine lines or cling to dry patches or anything like that. So far, so good. It's showing signs of the things that I like in my foundation. So let me pop off camera. I'll finish the rest of my makeup and I will come back to get the wear test started. Alright guys, so the rest of the makeup is on. I did just add my Dior Powder No Powder to this side of my face. I just add a little bit of that. And I feel like the side that I've powdered, is looking very dry. I feel like the powder definitely made the foundation cling to dry patches. Over here it's looking a little bit better. I see it has mildly settled into my smile lines, but that's not a deal breaker for me just because I find that it's gonna do that regardless. Yeah, so on this side I see that I've got it settled into lines, and then adding the powder really just enhanced that. So I feel like this side of my face looks a little bit aged, which I'm not loving. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. The side that I did not do anything to definitely looks fine. It's got like a very soft radiance to it, nothing crazy. It looks okay. Again, nothing that's getting me excited. I did enjoy the solid medium coverage that I got from this one, and I liked that I could build it. It doesn't feel very heavy. It does not feel tacky or anything like that, so it's definitely got a nice dry down to it, which I also appreciate, and it does have a very soft radiance. It's not a super glowy foundation by any means. So I am going to wear this throughout the rest of the day. I've got to do some more filming, and then I've got to do a bunch of things around the house. I am refusing to go outside because it is -30. So I won't be going outside, but I'm going to be doing a lot of things throughout the day. So hopefully we can test this out, see my exact thoughts, but it is currently about 10 a.m. I'm hoping to wear this until 10 or 11. Depending what time I go to bed. But so far, I think I like it, but I'm definitely excited to see how this wears throughout the day. So I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so we're at the very end of the day. I've officially had this makeup on for 12 hours. It is currently 10 p.m. So most of my makeup is completely worn down. I feel like my blush is holding on. I'm wearing one of the new Charlotte Tilbury matte blush wands, but everything else seems to be wearing down quite quickly. The foundation really started wearing down on the bottom half of my face in particular. I want to say the last few hours. I did check on it around 6 and it wasn't quite this worn. So it was definitely up to a certain point and then it kind of stopped participating. So if you'll recall, on this side of my face I primed and I set the makeup down with powder. On this side I just did the foundation and I didn't set it with anything. When I let it dry down, the foundation actually did dry down to sort of like a, I want to say like a soft matte. It wasn't fully matte because there was certainly a radiance to it, but it was definitely not tacky, which I really do appreciate. Typically, very hydrating foundations do feel a little tacky to the skin, and I have to add some powder to get rid of that. This one did not have that problem, which I'm happy about. But the side that I powdered, I do not like. As soon as I finished all my makeup and I looked at my face, I could see the areas where I had powdered just kind of looked kind of cracky, which was really strange, especially in smile lines, which was really kind of weird to me. And now that I'm looking at it, it looks like the foundation is broken up and just settled directly into my pores, and it really doesn't look good. On this side, I'm not really having that problem. I can see it starting to break down, but it is not nearly as bad as this side. And on this side, my dry patches are so enhanced, and I think I even found one down here that I didn't know about. I do have a breakout coming here, but this whole area is just super dry. So that was interesting as well. This side is fine. It settled into smile lines a little bit, but it was nothing overly pronounced or anything like that. It was the normal amount for any foundation essentially. So basically, I do not like this foundation when paired with powder. I also want to say the side with no powder, like I mentioned, it wasn't tacky, but it didn't seem to transfer. I would touch my face, or I would just kind of rest my head in my hand and I wouldn't end up with foundation all over my hand, so that was a good thing. It looked really pretty. It wasn't overly glowy as well. I thought it was definitely going to be much more glowy given that it's an Illuminance foundation. I don't really feel like it did that. I do feel like it had quite a natural finish, but it just doesn't look overly glowy. It's not nearly as glowy as the NARS Light Reflecting or even the Hourglass foundation. I do think it held on to the rest of my makeup pretty well. Like I said, I can still see my blush quite a bit, so I am happy with that. And it definitely did start wearing off and fading toward the end of the day and breaking up, particularly on the powdered side. I will also say this is definitely a medium coverage foundation. You're not going to be able to build this up to a full coverage. I don't mind this foundation. It works okay on my dry skin. It's not a favorite. It's not a favorite. After this first day, it is not my favorite, but it's also not a dislike either. It's not ranking with my favorites, and I definitely expected to like it a lot more than I do, but I'm going to keep wearing it. I'm going to keep testing it with different products to see if I can make this work. And hopefully I can, because again, I was looking for this one for so long and I really, really expected some great things. So maybe that's kind of the problem. I just don't like how it wore off so quickly toward the end of the day and the way it's breaking up, especially with the powder. So that's my only thing. So I am going to keep trying it, especially without powder. And I will of course update you guys at the end of the month. But overall, not the best wear test, but also not the worst. So it's hovering right in the middle of all the foundations I've tried. This one is kind of hovering somewhere in the middle right now. So I guess that is it for me today. Let me know down below if you've tried this one, if you like it, what your skin type is. Let us know so maybe we can kind of figure out who this works best on. But thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!